Dealing with narcissistic abuse can be incredibly challenging. It often leaves you feeling drained, confused, and questioning your own reality. Narcissists are skilled at crossing boundaries, manipulating emotions, and undermining your self-worth. What I'd like to do today is offer you 5 truths to give you some clarity and some comfort as you navigate this healing journey. The first thing that's crucial to do is to acknowledge the reality of the situation that you were in. Narcissists bring their own perception of life and enforce it heavily in their relationships, causing a real dissonance in how you experience being with them and then looking back on it. The first thing you can do is acknowledge the dysfunction. Recognize that the narcissist's behavior really reflects their own issues and not your worth. Then you have to accept that narcissism, being a personality disorder, means it's very ingrained in this person, making them unlikely or even unwilling to change. That unwillingness is not your fault, and release the burden of trying to fix them. Focus on your own recovery without guilt or shame, prioritizing self-care and setting healthy boundaries. More than anything else, be honest with yourself. You can't change what happened, but you can control how to move forward. The next truth is that you may never get perfect closure. Narcissists are extremely persistent. They won't stop being who they are, at least not permanently, just because you've cut them off or threatened to. This can leave you feeling unsettled with unresolved issues lingering. The key here is to acknowledge that some things might never be fully resolved. You need to make room for that discomfort. The first way to do that is learning to accept these loose ends in your journey. There will never be a perfect way to let go of that abusive relationship. You may distance yourself and find out that person is still speaking poorly about you, making up lies about you, or abusing others the way they used to abuse you. You may want to re-engage, fight back, tell your side of the story, but that's only going to throw you right back into the chaos you worked so hard to get away from. You have to let go of the need for closure from the narcissist. And it's okay to feel uncomfortable. Part of healing is accepting that not everything has a neat and tidy ending. The next truth that we need to get comfortable with is that you'll heal by seeking understanding, not excuses. It's easy to blame the narcissist for everything, but understanding why they behave the way they do can help you gain objectivity and peace. It's not about excusing their behaviors, but about recognizing their own internal struggles. The first point here is that narcissists often act out of deep-rooted insecurity and unresolved trauma. Ask yourself, is there anything that happened in this person's life that might have established these issues? For a lot of people, that could look like growing up in an environment that either overindulged or neglected them, creating a sense of entitlement and superiority. Or maybe they experienced early trauma that caused them to develop a deep fear of vulnerability, leading them to protect themselves by devaluing others. Whatever the case may be, if you can get yourself to shift your perspective towards one with more understanding, it will help you detach emotionally and see the bigger picture. And understanding doesn't mean accepting bad behavior. It's about finding clarity so you can move forward without being weighed down by confusion or anger. Another truth is that the emotional impact has no expiration date. After leaving a narcissist, it's important to assess how you've been affected emotionally. Things like fear, guilt, shame, anxiety, and anger are common responses to being controlled and manipulated. That means asking yourself some really tough questions, and we can start with a few here together. Do you still feel confused or unsure about your perception of the relationship? Do you find yourself over-apologizing or trying too hard to please people in your life? There can be so much debris from this type of abuse, and it's important to understand its origins. If you're already having problems doing that or don't feel it's giving you enough understanding to move forward, seeking professional help is the next best move. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. The way that we treat narcissistic abuse at Charlie Health is by first just providing a more organized, supportive system for you to engage in this self-exploration. Then we can get more intensive with your past and present relationships to determine where there might be some issues you can address now. Healing begins with self-awareness. Recognize these responses, but don't let them control you. You have the power to change your emotional landscape. The last and one of the most important truths that we'll uncover today is that long-term healing happens when you assert yourself and establish personal psychological boundaries. This goes far beyond just saying no. It's about defining who you are, what you value, and what you stand for. regardless of how the narcissist's opinions or influence may have derailed you. Did you have any interests, hobbies, routines, relationships in the past that went away through this narcissistic abuse? Give them another shot just to see how it feels. You're not trying to recover your past self. You're taking back your independence and not allowing anyone to dictate who you are. And maybe it'll turn out that you don't enjoy those things still. But at least now giving them up will be a decision that you make, not someone else for you. Setting psychological boundaries means reclaiming your autonomy. So to heal from narcissistic abuse, remember these 5 truths. Face the reality of the situation. Seek understanding, not excuses. Give up the need for closure. Acknowledge lasting impacts. And reassert your identity. Healing is a journey, and it's not always easy, but by focusing on these essentials, you'll start to reclaim your sense of self and peace. Remember, the narcissist doesn't get to define you anymore. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something new today. We have a lot more resources on narcissistic abuse on our website. We'll link those below for you, and hope to see you next time.